Oh, well, good morning for me, at least. It's good morning here. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm in the interior of British Columbia, Canada. I've been a lawyer for about 36 years. I've worked with Absol when he was a faculty member here. That's how we got to know each other. But yeah, this is a big problem across professions. I teach in the law school here. I'm teaching young, soon-to-be lawyers, and scammers are looking for them too because they're handling large amounts of money. So anytime someone wants you to speed up, that's when you slow down. Like anytime things become urgent, that's a real, that's a flashing beacon in your head saying, why do they want me to speed up? Anytime and I say this to law students, I say this like, all of a sudden there's urgency. When you see that, you know that there's something going on. Look up things independently. You can go, there's a website in my province, every province in Canada. Mine's called lawsociety.bc.ca. You'll find me. Like you can look me up and say, yes, this person is legitimately a lawyer. You would have my email. You can contact me directly and verify that it's me. And I have had people over the years, are you real? Is this real? And I say, yeah, I'm real. This is real. But you can find me independently of any website, any place else. This is like a provincial government website. So that it's you need to kind of take those kinds of steps to verify who it is you're dealing with, because the worst thing that could happen to you is you show up at the airport with your big documentation and then you're banned from the country. You wasted your money on your flight. You can imagine the expense and time and risk that you've taken, potentially even facing charges because you're trying to get in with fake documentation. That's a recipe for disaster, financial and otherwise, for you. And that's the last thing I'd like to see happen to anybody, obviously, is to be scammed and then to show up at the airport and then have these kinds of problems. That would just be horrible. It's such a terrible waste. You make these plans and have them all blown up in your face. So that's it's sad to see people ripped off like that. And I think the whole purpose of this is to avoid that from happening.
Thank you, John. So I will start with you. So from your perspective, say, for example, I am from Ghana, and I am looking for a legit conference to attend. So, from a legal perspective, say for example, I don't want to get played by the scammers. So, what factors should I consider before finding the right conference organizer in Canada? In your opinion, John?
Well, I mean, you can, I know that you're registered with the Better Business Bureau. That's an independent body. You can go, if you Googled Global Conference Alliance Canada, you probably find your website. And so, you're probably top at Google searches. That'd be something that would pop right up to the top. You say, okay, that's the one. And you can verify that, in fact, that's who you're dealing with. Again, because I sign a lot of these letters, you can find me independent of anybody else. There are people who make up fake law firms, with fake web pages, fake everything. But the Law Society of British Columbia, all the licensed lawyers in my province, like there's a website you can just go to and verify. And I tell my own students this, when you're dealing with a lawyer you don't know, you don't go to their website because that could all be a scam. You go to the Law Society webpage and verify who they are. Right. And so there are independent ways of doing this. I would say to you that, and again, anytime someone's putting the pressure on you, everything's on fire, you gotta move. That's a huge red flag for you to say, okay, something's going on. I need to slow down. I need to talk to somebody. Now is that take a pause, verify that you know who you're dealing with. That urgency seems to be a common theme in scams generally. It's like all of a sudden everything's on fire. It's gotta happen right now. You gotta move. Right. And you're going to lose this opportunity. It's going to be, like there's an urgency. You gotta do things right away. That's always a recipe for disaster.
Thank you, John. Another question for you is that, notarized invitation letter. As I mentioned before, nobody can give you a guarantee of getting a Canadian visa. But, how important having a letter notarized by a notary public from Canada?
The notarization is just verification that this is a legitimate document, right? It's me as a lawyer with seal and this is a real thing. Because of course, as you know, what's happening is anyone can just print off anything. But when it's properly notarized and provided to you, then it's legitimate. It's the authentication of the document by me that this is in fact real. And we have a process between us, obviously, where we verify this. And that's the process that we've been using that seems to be working for people. But again, I can't, just as you said, the Prime Minister of Canada can't guarantee you get a visa. It's not how Canada works. So we don't have, Prime Minister can't wave their hands. And, one of the things we see in the United States is, Donald Trump will pardon somebody. Prime Minister of Canada can't pardon anybody. That's absurd. We can't just let people get out of jail. That's not how our country runs, right? And so, no one can make those kinds of guarantees to you. And anyone who does is lying to you, because that's just not possible for me or you or anybody, quite frankly, to be able to guarantee that something like that would happen.
Okay, so one last question for you, talking about the legal implications. The legal implications of the victims and the legal implication of the scammers. Like those who are
I would say this: the scammer, obviously, they're committing a crime. There's not much debate about that. But the victim, sadly, the best case scenario for you, if you're a victim, is that you bought your ticket, you paid for the conference, you show up at the airport, and you're denied because you've got fake documents, and that's that would be your best day. Okay, that you could be banned, you could face charges. There's lots of other things. Now, you're an innocent victim of a scam, and you honestly thought you're getting a legitimate letter. I think you would go to jail. I think you're more of a victim than you are, a perpetrator of crime. But if you're participating in this, this is a fake letter, or you made it yourself or something like that, then you could face charges for sure. But even if you're an innocent victim, obviously you bought airfare, you paid for a conference, you booked hotels that might not be refundable. You're out thousands and thousands of dollars, and you made all these plans, you booked your schedule, and the whole thing just blows up. For what, right? So the best day for you is still a pretty terrible day in terms of what the consequences are.
I agree, because like recently what happened, there is some scammer from Cameroon. Stephen, please correct me if I'm wrong. So basically what he did, he sold 7 fake invitation letter to some people in Senegal. Right, Stephen? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and then actually, our embassy in Senegal, they identified it. They actually reached out to us. They shared those invitation letter, and they have asked us if these invitation letter are real, if they are issued by Global Conference. So actually, they identified the scammer, and yes, the victims they will suffer, but I think it's a huge risk even for the scammers, because I think they should be penalized as well. We are not. We not only we want to make sure that our participants, our delegates, they don't suffer from scammers, but these scammers, like I think there are ways, like even in because Canadian embassies, they're very well organized, and we work with them very closely. So actually, they will be one of our partners when we will be promoting in Ghana. So John, thing is that like these scammers, if we do not go after them, they will keep doing like this.
They may feel they're safe where they are, that they don't, police aren't going to bother chasing them down. I can't speak for, you're committing a crime, you're defrauding people, obviously. That's something that'd be a local government issue. People I'm really most concerned about are obviously the victims of this, right? And so it's a bit of caution. Verify who you're dealing with, and there's an old saying: if a deal looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Right? Yeah, just one last comment on this. Like actually, I had a brief meeting with one of the officers from Interpol. Actually, they have a wing. They have a division, like when what is dealing with the fake invitation letter, fake even like what happened like last month. There was a group of people, actually they applied for the Canadian visa, and those fake invitation letter actually like they are attending a UN conference, and they have submitted fake invitation letter. And then it came into the attention of the government of Canada, United Nations, Interpol, and they're taking it very seriously. It's not just Global Conference, even organizations like United Nations. Yeah. So thank you very much, John. Anything else you'd like to add here, John?
No, just like I say, take your time, exercise some caution, make sure you know who you're dealing with. It would be my advice to anybody. Uh, it's unfortunate that people will take advantage of others in this sort of circumstance, and it's the last thing you want to see happen to anybody. No, I think the whole purpose of this is to, we don't certainly, I don't speak for your organization, I'm not your spokesperson, but I can't imagine you'd want to rip people off, when it came to these sorts of things. And so that's really, it's a concern for us. But not only is it your good name being dragged down, but that people are also getting ripped off. And that's not fair to anybody. The only person that benefits from that is the scammer.
Yeah. Thank you.